Hello. Welcome back to today's Culminating Experience presentations. My name is Alexandra Zapata, the Program Assistant of the Berklee Global Jazz Institute. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge and thank some of the leaders that supported our student success throughout this academic year. Thank you to our deans from the Professional Performance Division, Dean Sean Skeet and Associate Dean Karen Bell. Thank you to our dean from the Graduate Studies Division, Dean Sindhu Revaluri. We would also like to thank our directors from the Berklee Global Jazz Institute, founder and artistic director Danilo Perez, and managing director Marco Piñataro. Thank you to Associate Director Mary McClory, Department Coordinator of Academic Affairs Ruben McFarland, and the Graduate Studies team for setting up this event. Our next student is Roella Oloro. Roella is a British multi-instrumentalist, performer, and composer of Nigerian and Jamaican heritage, and a recent magna cum laude graduate of Berklee College in 2023. In 2023 and 2024, Roella performed with her piano trio at the NAMM show in California and Capitol Turnaround in Washington as a featured artist of the Sure Rocks Showcase. Roella's committee member is Tia Fuller, professor and artistic director of the ensemble department. Her advisor is Assistant Professor Farai Malik. Please welcome to the stage Roella Oloro.
Good afternoon, everybody. My thesis is entitled Igniting the Fire Within, considering the worldwide George Floyd protests as inspiration for solidarity and compassion on a global scale. The music for my thesis draws inspiration from the protests and vigils that took place around the world during the 2020 pandemic, following George Floyd's death at the hands of the police. They showcased a global scale level of solidarity that I didn't dare even hope to witness for years to come, let alone in my lifetime. It was truly a monumental moment in history. We saw the world uniting and making a definitive stance against the horrors of the police brutality, racism, prejudice, and injustice that the Black community have been facing for years. The universal acknowledgement of the racism faced by Black Americans inspired further protests. These not only demonstrated solidarity, but also gave the people of many different countries, notably of the wider African diaspora of which I am a part, being Jamaican and Nigerian, the courage to call out racism and similar deaths of Black and brown people in police custody taking place in their own countries. Through the music of my CE, I want to encourage listeners to realize the global level of empathy and compassion that we are capable of, and to uphold the same level of solidarity from the 2020 protests as we move forward into post-pandemic society. So before composing any music, I actually watched a lot of the different videos of the worldwide George Floyd BLM protests. The same story was being repeated continuously, but with different names, faces, and languages. This piece captures the steady, processional-like nature of the marches that I watched and pays homage to the many Black and brown people who died at the hands of the police throughout the diaspora and throughout the world.
Of New York City, pocketed among tens of thousands of protesters, dancer Michael Fryer performed A Black Man's Heart. In a video that went viral online, this was his stand against police brutality in the US.
When George Floyd died, I felt like a piece of all of us died. We're literally running. If you listen to the song, she says we have to stand up, but sometimes we can't stand up because they're holding us down.
The Black Lives Matter protests have become a global movement.
Thank you so much. So I actually chose the key of B flat minor to convey a pensive and somber mood through the dark chordal quality that this minor flat tonality presents. In excerpt 1, we see that the opening bass line is written to sound stately and somber, fitting the processional mood of the piece too. In excerpt 2, the drums intentionally open with a snare feature, similar to a slow New Orleans funeral parade march. The sensationalization of George Floyd's death led to the removal of Confederate and colonial statues, not only in the United States, but also around the world, and also challenging monuments simultaneously representing white supremacy and the dehumanization and violation of African Americans / enslaved Africans of the diaspora. My piece, Shattering Strongholds, is dedicated to this phenomenon. So for a little bit of musical analysis, the dynamic hits that you heard throughout the piece, echoing through the rest of the band, actually imitate the pulling down of these colonial statues, but simultaneously the breaking of the mental strongholds present in any ideals that are justifying of slavery. The sporadic melody and up-tempo free jazz descending into free improv represent the chaotic nature of some of the protests that took place. Not all of them were peaceful. Actually, a lot of the protesters encountered brute force from the police, who were responding to their protesting with tear gas and riot gear. This piece was also my band's attempt at experimenting with improvisation, which is to intentionally compose material as a group in real time. This is a concept that we learned from Maestro Danilo Perez over our time this year in the Global Masters. So the piece, Unified Collective Conscious, is actually inspired by the global response to the death of George Floyd, highlighting a historical moment of worldwide unity. The ethnically diverse nature of the protest showed that it is possible for all of us to come together and demonstrate empathy, compassion, and solidarity towards the suffering of our fellow men.
Protesters have also joined together in global dance movements. Many have also taken the opportunity to perform more traditional dances, such as this young girl in Puerto Rico dancing the bamba, which has roots in black sin.
And so we've come to the final tune I'm going to present today, which is the mega tune and actually the title track of my project entitled Ignite the Fire Within. It features all 20 students on the Global Masters program. And I decided to do this to really drive home how the solidarity and empathy that we want to see should actually start with us. And also, like, I really love my class of global master students like so much. Like, it's been such an amazing year, and truly just, yeah, guys. And the space that we've held for each other's projects too is something that's so special, and I think really just makes us just an amazing year. You know, I'm a little biased, but yeah, like, I really love you guys, so this is dedicated to everyone. So the intro of this piece actually features the percussion section. It references the West African rhythms Toto-G and the Abakwa bell pattern. These are rhythmic concepts introduced to us over the course of our time here by drum set and percussion professor Jerry Lee, and also reinforced by Danilo in our workshops with him. The widespread dissonant sounding orchestrated chords at the beginning of the piece are inspired by Danilo's tetrachord theory that can give way to chordal harmony outside of standard notation. If you refer to the handouts that I've given out earlier today, you can see a more detailed analysis of each piece. And everyone takes a solo on this piece to show how all of our voices are necessary and need to be heard in the battle against the different injustices that are faced around the world. So, there were protests all over the UK, which is something, as someone hailing from there, I've never seen ever in my lifetime, so this was huge. And also protests throughout all 50 of the United States, which is also something huge for this country's history too. And most notably, there were protests that took place in over 60 countries on all 7 continents. So the fire was truly ignited within everybody, and I'm here to remind us to keep that fire burning bright. So special thanks to my teachers and mentors, to the engineering crew, my beautiful and wonderful peers on the Global Masters. Here's some works cited, and that was Igniting the Fire Within.
Woo! Very good, very good.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Congratulations, Roella, and we're going to start the second part of the presentation with question and answer from the panel, and we always start with the panelists, and we are very happy to have Professor Tia Fuller here with us, so you're the first one. Yes.
Congratulations, Roella.
Thank
that
you.
Was amazing. Yes. And first off, I want to thank you all, Mary, and you all for having me and always including me over here at Global. It's really great to be here with you all and be a part of this process. I'm really excited to see your evolution. I think you were in a couple of my ensembles early on, like your sophomore year, and even back when you were in Terry's camp when you first came. I'm curious as to what came first. What I know the idea, the concept was strong in your spirit, but did you create the music first, or were you inspired by the footage?
Okay, so actually, before I wrote anything, it was I just took in lots and lots of footage. Like I did a lot of research first, because the music part is what comes easiest to me, and so like I wanted every note that I make to be like infused with a lot of intention, and so by digesting like all of the like analytical information, like I was hoping that would come out in my composition process, which I do feel like it did. Like for example, like the dance clip in the first tune, the song that was actually in the background to that is the song Stand Up, which is from the Harriet Tubman movie. And it literally sparked my compositional process. And like immediately I was like, okay, this is the song I've been looking for to write what has been circulating in my mind. And to kind of like tell like a little bit more of a story about the whole project too. This is kind of like compositionally, this is a second part to it. I actually like had like a first reckoning of releasing music surrounding the subject of George Floyd's death in 2021 with a single entitled Sacrificial Lamb, and that was like my initial reaction. So like kind of a lot of like rage and just like kind of like Rage Against the Machine sort of vibe like went into that. And with this, I kind of like wanted to expand on that thought, but like really be like, okay, like, so where am I now? Where is the collective thought now on everything that happened in 2020 and specifically with George Floyd, and to kind of get like, to have like to connect those two thoughts. So it's kind of something that was inspired by research, but has also been like ruminating in me for like a long time. For like the past 4 years, it's kind of a combination of all of that, and yeah.
And that's great. And alongside of that, to dig a little deeper, especially with your first piece, what's the historical significance of that ostinato?
Of the
Your first,
the baseline?
Yes, the baseline on Breaking Point, because it did create a vibe, but I'm curious if it was intentional. I know it was intentional, but from a historical standpoint.
Off the top of my head, from a historical standpoint, like I can't pinpoint exactly where it would have been connected to. But more with, like, if you to look at the marrying of the drums and the bass together, the processional nature and specifically the snare is referencing like more of a New Orleans like funeral sort of march, and the bass is kind of facilitating that. Is like kind of where I was like thinking from with it.
Okay, and I just have one more comment. It just kept coming to me at the end, especially after your fourth piece. I just want to encourage you to dig deeper into this, because I could actually see this as a production. Potentially you could come back here, put on a production, for Black History Month or what have you, and really dig deeper, incorporate dance, but I love the fact that you included all of your peers and your family here at Global, because that's what it's all about. So congratulations.
Thank
Very
you,
proud of you.
Thank you, Tia. Professor Marek.
Thank you. Roella, congratulations. You've done just incredible work this year, and I'm really, really proud to have been able to support you this year through this project. I want to talk about your future plans a little bit with this. I know we talked about some of the things that are going on today politically in the United States, and the George Floyd's murder and the protests happened at a time when the world was at home and sick and watching what was going on, and now so many of us have kind of gotten back to our regular lives and we're not paying attention as much. And because of that, there are things going on in the United States, book bannings, talking about the history of our nation. And actually last month, a Virginia County board voted to restore Confederate names of schools that had previously been changed in 2020 and 2021 in light of the George Floyd protests. So things are going on behind the scenes and people aren't paying attention. So how do you plan to use this project and to use your voice to bring attention to the things that are going on, not only in the United States, but globally around race relations?
So I definitely want to keep performing this music and performing it and really explaining the context behind it and the importance of it. Like the whole reason why I decided to center my project like on igniting the fire within is because there is a tendency, like, without people being reminded, for us to go backwards and to go back to and to, like, kind of undercut the amazing change that, like, we even started to see in 2020. So music has always been a really powerful tool for getting to people think whilst also disarming them. And I think also just, like, by my nature, I'm not naturally combative, but, like, I want to present it to, like, keep presenting, like, the importance of what happened in 2020 to people in a way that's, like, palatable, but also does not in any way, like, mince my words. Like, I still want them to be, like, very in touch with everything that happened and, like, in everything that my music stands for. Like, I want them to, like, understand the seriousness of how important it is that the change that was started in 2020 we keep implementing. And yeah, definitely it's something that I want to continue to do as I perform like more in the United States, but definitely like back home too. Because those conversations that were started are honestly conversations that we've been waiting for years. In the UK, race relations are a very, very touchy subject, and racism is very covert. But for people to actually be like as vocal as they were in some of the clips, that, like as I was showing, not just like people from Black communities, but like it was really a racially diverse thing. Yeah, it's something that I definitely want to keep facilitating and keep making sure that those conversations are circling around, that people aren't going backwards in thought, and that they're still putting in the work to relearn like their own like cultural biases too. And yeah, obviously, like, you know, the world consists of so much more than just the US and the UK, despite colonialism and neocolonialism. And yeah, like wherever I go, like I want to keep having these conversations with like whoever and whoever like is down to have it, and like wherever they're from. Yeah, because it was really amazing to see that this event really took hold in far and wide, and even in countries where there isn't like a strong representation of Black and brown people. Like the fact that the protest also reached like parts of Asia too was huge. And so yeah, like through like continuing to perform this and to have these conversations, like yeah, I want to keep the awareness going.
That's great. Thank you. I'd like to encourage you to do some research about what's going on in your country and around the world in terms of politics, and talk about where, like, when you're performing this music in different places, encourage people to get involved with their local politics, so that things like what's going on in Virginia, we can, you know, keep from regressing. Beautiful job. Congratulations.
Thank you, Farai. Thank you so much. Roella, wow. Really, congratulations. It's beautiful to see how much this presentation, and Farai, congratulations to you too, like has evolved during the last 5 weeks since the first time you presented to today, and what a beautiful picture you painted in terms of your narrative, and really framing it in the perfect, powerful way. The first thing I want to tell you, I want to congratulate you also because you did something that nobody ever did at the graduate program, which is nobody ever put the all 20 students in a studio. And to me, that's, you know, it's so moving for us to see this, especially at the end of such a beautiful year. I feel like you really highlighted the beauty of this community, and now you know, put together, you know, in a room all of this energy, and it was really nice to see. So thank you for doing that. Amazing idea, really. Number one. And number two, I as a composer, given also, you know, the topic you have with your project, I hear, and I don't know if you agree with that, but what I'm hearing in your music is almost like a joyful hope for the future. You know, there's a lot of hope in the music, and you know, and I love how that to me is such a remarkable note that I'm perceiving, and it's so grooving. And I know that you were very diligent, and you put us here a nice handout with a lot of analysis. I was just wondering if there's anything here that you could not cover because of time that you would like to expand on from, you know, the handout that you gave to us regarding your composition.
I mean, I'm in two minds because like there is a piano here and I could go more in depth, but I feel like it's okay if I get a little bit cerebral. Okay. So to go like a little bit more into the orchestrated chords, tetrachords that I wrote. I actually worked it out afterwards, and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool! I didn't even know this is actually a tetrachord."
That doesn't sound very cerebral, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, like the way that it breaks down is for those chords. I took like the upper tetrachord of the A harmonic minor scale, which is E, F, G sharp, and A, and then like inverted them so that they would make two lots of just major seventh intervals, and then stacked them on top of each other, like, and harmonized them and took them down in thirds. I can essentially play that to show you what I mean. Okay, so this is the A minor harmonic scale. This is the upper harmonic tetrachord, and then taking the bottom half, putting the F on the bottom, and then the top half, taking the G sharp and put it on the top. You get this when you put it together. And then you move it down in thirds, and that's how I got my intro. Yeah, so that's a little bit explanation.
Thank you, Roella. That was nice. Maestro Danilo.
Roella, congratulations. I had a chance to see and witness the process of growth, and it's amazing. First of all, I want to congratulate you because I can hear everything you said. And this is so important in the world that you are, and to be heard. And you made us hear you. Thank you. And also want to congratulate you because you're wearing a dachiki. So I don't know if you all know that dachiki is a meaning of African pride and heritage. It has become a symbol of Pan-Africanism. So it's in all your presentation, you are showing how much respect and love you have for this. The music, wow, I'm so happy that you got in there and really work on the music and got all the parts, and so we can hear exactly what your voice sounds like, and congratulations, beautiful. And also getting to meet you more in depth in Panama and see how you interacted. I really came out with a sense of incredible hope for the world, because those experiences really are help us to transform ourselves first, and then hopefully the outside world. There's a lot of evil out there. I want to close and congratulate you for everything you've done. You come in and sometimes I couldn't read where you were, like really quiet in the corner, and then a lot of question marks. But question marks are important because nobody knows the answer except the person itself. The sense of beginning, how you started this with the idea of awakening, I want to talk about that and give you a thought about it. It is crucial that we emphasize that the awakening process is a highly personal journey. That's what you have described. And the result might vary greatly from person to person. What matters the most is that individuals feel a sense of growth, fulfillment, and alignment with their true self. And that's what you show us today. This is a journey that is important to you, that is meaningful. I just wish you to continue, keep deepening it. As Son of Den mentioned, that the fight is global now. We have to align, intersect, and keep that spirit. And keep raising the volume of your voice. We want to hear what you have to say, sister. Blessings, being a privilege working with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes, please give another warm applause to Roella. Congratulations.